Hello, and welcome back to English Podcast to Learn English, the show where we explore fascinating topics to help you improve your language skills. I'm Jack.
And I'm Emma. It's great to be back with you all.
So, Emma, today's topic is, well, it's a bit of a weird one. It's something I see all the time, but have literally never thought to question.
I know, right? When I was researching it, I fell down this huge rabbit hole. It's one of those things that's just normal until you find out it's not normal at all.
Okay, don't keep us in suspense. What are we talking about?
We are talking about cheese. Specifically, we're uncovering the very strange true story of why cheddar cheese is orange.
Huh. See, it's so obvious, but so weird. Because milk isn't orange, so why would the cheese be? I just figured, I don't know, that it was a special kind of cheese-making magic.
Less magic, more deception. It's a story that involves history, economics, chemistry, and psychology. It's absolutely wild.
The Great Cheese Conspiracy. I'm ready. Let's do it. Where does this story even begin?
Okay, so to understand why your mac and cheese is day-glow orange, we have to travel back in time to 18th century England, the birthplace of cheddar.
Right, in the village of Cheddar, presumably.
The very same. Now, back then, the best, most prized cheese was made from the milk of specific cow breeds, like Guernsey and Jersey cows. These cows grazed on grass and flowers that were super rich in a natural pigment called beta-carotene.
Beta-carotene. That's the stuff in carrots, right? Makes them orange.
That's the one. And this pigment gets stored in the fat of the milk. So when you made cheese from this high-fat beta-carotene-rich milk, it had a beautiful, deep, buttery yellow, almost golden orange color.
Okay, so the color was a natural indicator of quality. If you saw a golden cheese, you knew it was made from the good stuff, rich, full-fat milk. It was like the designer handbag of cheeses.
Exactly. It was a status symbol. But then some dairy producers started to get a little bit greedy.
There's always a villain in the story.
Right? They figured out that they could make more money if they skimmed the valuable cream off the top of the milk. They'd sell the cream separately or churn it into butter.
Aha, double dipping. But wait, if they skimmed the fat off, didn't that take the color away too?
That's the problem they ran into. Their cheese, made from this lower fat milk, came out looking pale, white, almost ghostly. It looked cheap, and nobody wanted to pay a premium for sad, anemic-looking cheese.
So they needed a way to fake it, to make their budget cheese look like luxury cheese. This is the heart of the Great Cheese Deception.
This is it. They needed a dye, and they found the perfect one, annatto.
Annatto sounds exotic.
It is. It's a natural food coloring that comes from the seeds of the achiote tree, which grows in tropical places in the Americas. It has this intense reddish-orange hue, but it doesn't really have any flavor in the small amounts needed for cheese.
So it was the perfect food counterfeit. They'd stir a little bit of this annatto into their vats of pale, skimmed milk, and suddenly,
voila! It looked exactly like the expensive, full-fat golden cheddar. The customers were fooled. They'd see this vibrant orange cheese and assume it was the highest quality, when in fact, it was the opposite. The cream had been stolen.
that's just incredible. It's like selling a knockoff watch, but making the faceplate extra shiny. The scam works so well that people just began to expect cheddar to be orange. The fake became the new reality.
Mm-hmm. But that was all in England. So why did it become such a massive thing in America, even more so than in the UK?
Yeah, that's the next big question, because you're right. If you go into a fancy cheese shop in London, most of the traditional English cheddar is white. But here in the States, the default setting for cheddar is blazing orange.
Well, this part of the story is all about immigration and building a new identity. In the 19th century, tons of English cheesemakers emigrated to America. They settled in places that were great for dairy, like Wisconsin and Vermont,
And they brought their recipes and techniques with them.
including the now common practice of adding annatto. But here's the key difference. In America, there was no pre-existing cheddar culture. There weren't generations of people who remembered the original golden cheese. The orange version was their first and only experience.
So it wasn't seen as a fake, it was just seen as cheddar, the American style.
Exactly. It just became the standard. Meanwhile, back in the UK, a sort of purist movement began. Artisanal cheesemakers took pride in making traditional, uncolored white cheddar. They championed it as the authentic stuff.
So the two countries took these completely divergent paths. The UK trended back towards its natural roots, while the US leaned into this new, vibrant orange tradition.
Yep. And then you have the rise of massive industrial food companies in America, like Kraft. They needed a consistent product. It was much easier to dye all their cheese a uniform orange than to deal with the natural color variations in milk from season to season.
Right, so that bright orange got baked into American culture. It's the color of Kraft singles, Cheez-Its, Goldfish crackers, that electric orange mac and cheese powder.
It's the color of cheese flavor in our brains, which actually leads perfectly into the psychology of all this.
Yes, the brain science part, because it's not just history, it's about how our minds work. The color of our food dramatically changes how we perceive its flavor.
100%. It's a phenomenon called sensory expectation. Our eyes send a signal to our brain before we even taste something, setting up an expectation.
And with cheese, we see that warm, rich orange color, and our brain is primed to expect a rich, creamy, sharp flavor. Marketers call it the color of flavor.
Right, and the opposite is true. If you saw like green cheese, you might think it's moldy and tastes bad, even if it was perfectly fine and just had food coloring.
They've done so many studies on this. They give people two identical samples of cheese. One is white, one is dyed orange, and people will almost always rate the orange one as tasting sharper, richer, or cheesier.
It's incredible. Our eyes are basically telling our taste buds what to do.
Totally. Think about other foods. Why is strawberry yogurt pink when strawberries are red and yogurt is white? It's to signal strawberry flavor. Why are lime flavored candies bright green? It's all about meeting that sensory expectation.
So that orange color in cheddar is more than just a dye. It's a marketing tool that's been working for 2 centuries. A delicious lie we keep telling ourselves.
And it really brings us to where we are today with this modern cultural divide over cheese color. It's kind of a big deal.
It really is. You have 2 camps. In one corner, you have white cheddar. It's often marketed as being more authentic, natural, or artisanal.
Yeah, it's the cheese you get at Whole Foods, the stuff from Vermont that's aged for 3 years. It signals sophistication. You put it on a cheese board with artisanal crackers and a fig jam.
It says, I care about tradition and purity. It feels more real because nothing has been added just for appearance.
And then in the other corner, you have orange cheddar, the cheese of the people. It's nostalgic, it's comfort food.
Totally. It's the cheese that melts perfectly on a burger. It's the go-to for a classic grilled cheese sandwich. It's what you shred over chili or nachos.
It's not trying to be fancy. Its tradition is its own kind of authenticity. The authenticity of the American family kitchen. There's an honesty in its dishonesty, you know?
That's a surprisingly deep thought about cheese, Jack, but I get it. They both have their place. It's fascinating that a simple choice made centuries ago to add a drop of dye created these 2 distinct food identities.
And the craziest part is that chemically they can be identical. If you take a mild white cheddar and the mild orange cheddar, the only difference is that microscopic amount of annatto. The flavor is the same, but our culture and our brains tell us they're completely different experiences.
The power of color. What a story.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap for everyone.
Okay, point 1. Cheddar is orange because of the great cheese deception of the 1800s. English farmers skimmed cream from milk and used annatto dye to make their pale, low-fat cheese look like high-quality, full-fat cheese.
Point 2. This orange tradition stuck in America when English immigrants brought the technique over, and it became the American standard. Meanwhile, the UK largely reverted to preferring traditional white cheddar.
Point 3. The psychology of color. Our brains are wired to associate the deep orange color with a richer, creamier, more cheesy flavor, even though it's just a dye.
And finally, point 4. This has created a modern cultural divide. White cheddar is often seen as authentic and artisanal, while orange cheddar is nostalgic, mainstream, and the king of American comfort food.
Wow, I am never going to look at the cheese aisle the same way again.
Me neither. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We hope you enjoyed this wild story and learned some new vocabulary along the way.
Thanks for listening to English Podcasts to Learn English. Join us next time for another deep dive.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.